The Open Shots podcast is a mature audience's podcast. Listener discretion is advised. Once again, come to you, DMV. This is that show. It is Open Shots, the podcast. You can hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. Rick, how's it looking?
Cooler, man. Warriors in the motherfucking finals. Told y'all.
Right. So just a heads up to all our listeners. Thank you for listening, number one. Number two, we're a bi-weekly podcast just because, if we did it every week, we'd be sounding like just about everybody else. But this is not that show. This is the show. It is Open Shots. So we're going to go ahead and do a rundown, just recapping some things that have happened, in the past 2 weeks or so. We're going to recap some things that have happened in the past 2 weeks or so. So a couple topics we're going to be talking about today. Of course, Donald Trump back in the news, stays in the news. I mean, not for being our president, but just other kinds of shenanigans and just, oh my goodness, get it right. NBA playoffs, of course, we're going to keep talking about that. This is the show. We stay with the sports. Unfortunately, when the NBA playoffs is over, I don't know if you're talking about baseball. Yeah, I don't know baseball. So hopefully there's a lot of trades and NFL news going on. Yeah, something. We'll find something. We will find something. We need
some rap beef, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Donald Trump. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. Julian Assange back in the news again. Him and Chelsea Manning. The dynamic duo, I would imagine. And we're going to also be talking about the abortion law changes that has happened in 8 states in the past month. Have pretty much passed laws that are challenging Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood and just making it a lot stricter. So we're gonna talk about that, and then on our last topic, we're gonna go into recapping some things that we've talked about previously, and just some random stuff, food for thought kind of thing. So let's go ahead and start with Donald Trump. So in the past week, the state of New York has authorized state tax officials to release the president's state returns to any one of 3 congressional committees. And they're opening it up because they want to find out pretty much what's going on with Donald Trump's money. And I think a lot of Americans want to know what's going on. And
I don't think a lot. I think we want to know. Right. Maybe a lot, but, people are going to try to be on his dick because they just want to pass their agenda. That's all they want.
Right. So a federal judge in Manhattan ruled against the request from President Trump to block his longtime lender, Deutsche Bank, from complying with congressional subpoenas, trying to get his financial records. And lawmakers in New York approved a bill allowing Congress to obtain Donald Trump's state tax returns, which are going to be pretty much very similar to the federal tax returns that people have been requesting for some time now. Now, let's do a little bit of history here. Deutsche Bank has had dealings with Donald Trump, and since 1998, and this is according to the New York Times, Deutsche Bank has lended Donald Trump more than $2 billion. Trump owes Deutsche Bank more than $300 million at the time that he was sworn in as president.
For real?
Yep, and right now that is his largest creditor. Now there's a lot of questions of potential.
Why do we know any of this shit when he was running for office?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember him talking. Where was Hillary's team at? Like, he owed these motherfuckers $300 million.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna recap. Deutsche's private wealth unit loaned Donald Trump $48 million after he defaulted on his $640 million loan. And the bank's commercial unit, a separate unit from, I guess, these other lenders, didn't want to lend him any further funds because they didn't know if he was going to be able to pay her back. But another side of Deutsche Bank went ahead and loaned Trump's company $125 million as part of a $150 million purchase of Doral Golf Resort in Miami. And the loan's primary collateral was land and buildings that he paid only $105 million for. So he's paying $105 million for a $125 million loan. And he's already been loaned $48 million and defaulted on $640 million. At some point, you got to say, this is kind of like a pay for play kind of thing.
Right.
As long as we're in good graces, because now you're the president.
Yep.
We're eventually going to get our money somehow because maybe we go out the federal government. But in the meantime, you're the president. You can help us out. There's been a lot of Trump and his lawyers and his whole team pretty much saying, like, we're not going to release the records. There's no need to. So every president pretty much since, I want to say, Richard Nixon.
They did it voluntarily, though.
Right. And it's been a tradition.
Right.
And this is the first president pretty much since Richard Nixon.
He got to hide, basically what we're getting down to.
Right. So he's pretty much.
Bullshit. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck he got to hide, man? He on some bullshit.
So, his relationship with Deutsche Bank has been, questionable. At the same time, there's something that we cannot
the Russians got
Yes. Yes. So getting to that, in 2017, Deutsche Bank was fined $630 million by the United States and UK London financial authorities over accusations of laundering money out of Russia. Deutsche's and this is again from the New York Times, Deutsche's bank's anti-money laundering control mechanisms failed to spot sham trades with a value of up to $10 billion, not knowing who the customers involved in the trades were and where their money came from. This is a quote from the New York Times. These flaws allowed a corrupt group of bank traders and offshore entities to improperly and covertly transfer more than $10 billion out of Russia, the regulator said. The German bank that loaned $300 million to Donald Trump played a prominent role in a money laundering scandal run by Russian criminals with ties to the Kremlin.
But we can't get them for nothing.
Yeah. This whole, I guess I'm kind of trying to pinpoint the dots here, and let's see if we can connect the dots. You have money being laundered out of Russia, what are we looking at? $10 billion going to, we don't know where or who to. And you have an investigation, a special counsel by Mueller investigating.
That's over though.
But it's still kind of connecting the dots related to Donald Trump's dealing with Russian operatives.
Right.
Both of them are dealing with the same banks, with the meetings that happened at Trump Tower, prior to.
Yeah.
So now, if those same people who are involved in this money laundering are also similar people or the same people dealing with Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, and Donald Trump, now you start to connect it, and the common link is Deutsche Bank. At what point do we now, as Americans, start to say, okay, there is way too much smoke now. There's fire. Let's go ahead and start.
Well, you need to you can't say there's fire yet, though. I mean, there is a lot of smoke without no evidence. You can't say, I think the motherfucker got something to hide. But I see what you're saying. But you can't say there's fire unless we need more evidence.
Okay, so
there's a whole lot of smoke. Don't get me wrong. I don't like fuck Donald Trump. But then we thought we had this motherfucker for the special counsel shit, and he beat that shit. We need to slam him for this shit.
Right. So Jamie Raskin, who represents this area where we're at in Montgomery County, just outside of D.C., when it comes to national news, they always say he's a representative from the suburbs of D.C., the suburbs of D.C. He's from Maryland. Let's just say he's a senator from Maryland. He pretty much, from the little bit that I've understood, presented to these congressional hearings and councils and saying, what? He's a senator, I believe, from Maryland. He used to be a congressman.
Yeah, senator. He is. I voted for him.
Right. So he's either a senator or congressman. I'm pretty sure he's a senator. I know I voted for him as well. And so he pretty much came up with the idea of like, you know what? We should start the impeachment process. Not necessarily the impeachment hearings, but here's the thing. And but
the Congress has to impeach you. The Senate can convict you. I don't think we should. I think it's a bad move.
Okay.
Because you're playing into his base.
Okay.
And right now he doesn't have an opponent to go against. Mm-hmm. But if you give him impeachment, now he has somebody to go against.
Right. But the whole strategy that I believe Raskin and now potentially the Democrats are going to be doing, because I believe Pelosi has been kind of holding her hand back a little bit, is that Raskin is saying, if we open these potential impeachment investigation and hearings before with the special counsel and the Mueller investigation, we had a toolbox of a slingshot and a water gun and a rubber band.
Yeah.
Now we've got everything under our arsenal because we don't have to necessarily reach an impeachment process, but we can start an impeachment investigation.
Investigate with you,
exactly.
But he could do what he's doing now. You could be like, come speak to us, and he's gonna tell the people don't go.
But he's
gonna drag that shit out.
I agree. That's his strategy. He fights. He's used to
do
fighting.
that shit in real life. And
right.
He's using his fucking powers. He's using the courts to do that shit for him.
And he's definitely used to fighting in court. However, with the process of potentially opening up these impeachment investigations, you now have the high probability of what New York just ruled, saying that, we're going to go ahead and release your financial records.
And by the time 2020 come around, they're going to be out.
Okay, so
it's going to be right in time for us to vote.
So he did fight it, and this is
2 judges.
So this is the lawyer, again, from the New York Times. The lawyer for the Trump family argued this past Wednesday that the subpoenas raised serious questions about the outer reach of the power of Congress, end quote, putting members of the legislative branch in the position of law enforcement officials. Quote, Congress cannot assume the role of the executive branch, he said. He also lamented the subpoena's reach and pretty much said that this could be detrimental to the family and yada, yada, yada.
Who gives a fuck?
If you committed a crime, it's going to be detrimental to your family no matter who you are.
Right.
The judge who was hearing these arguments said that he thought it was unlikely Mr. Trump and his family would win. And he also said that, yes, it could be detrimental to the family, but unfortunately that does not let him get above the law and the ruling. Something that you have to deal. So Judge Ramos and the state of New York,
all the way to the highest court that he can, but man, you got to abide by the law. I think Congress can get his tax return. I forgot how they can do it or what law it is, but the way the motherfucker worded it, the Democrat who did it, he worded it so viciously. Well, when he tried to beat the shit, you got to turn it over. That shit was passed like in 1920 something. I forgot what fucking president did it. Well, if they want to see your tax returns, they're allowed to ask you for your tax return.
Okay.
I ain't making that shit up. I forgot what it was called. I be drunk watching shit, but I remember they said that shit.
Okay, so here's where I have an issue, just in general, kind of like we're going to give you a little bit of leeway. Under an agreement, again, from the New York Times, under an agreement reached before the hearing on Wednesday, the House Financial Services and Intelligence Committees had agreed to hold off on enforcing the subpoenas until 7 days after the judge's ruling, giving Donald Trump time to appeal the ruling. Why give him time?
Because we trying to look.
You're being nice. Yeah. Why be nice?
Because we ain't trying to like we assholes.
You're not trying to look like you're railroading him.
Right. We're trying to give him all the reasons why, because he's going to try to take it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And we ain't trying to... I don't think the Supreme Court would even hear this case. Well, they might.
Under what?
I don't know, but he's already in federal court, right?
Right.
Then if he appeal it, he's going to go to what? Appeals court, right?
Yep.
Okay. After appeals court is what?
The Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court. Now I don't think it's getting that high. They could say, we ain't got time for this shit.
Right.
Send it back to appeals court. But I'm saying,
I don't think they would.
I agree. So it might not go to the Supreme Court, but he could try to keep pushing it because what he's doing is just keep kicking the can down the road, trying to prolong this shit.
And that's what he's been doing this entire time.
Hell yeah.
The reason I don't think the Supreme Court is even going to hear this case is because what are you challenging in terms of constitutionality?
I agree. But I'm just saying his strategy is we're just going to keep on.
Take it as far as you can.
As far as you can take it, milk it.
To the next election.
Until the shot clock gets down to 0. Exactly. That's all he's trying to do.
Right.
And if for some bogus reason that the Supreme Court do take it up, which I agree with you, they won't. He's thinking, okay, we got a 5-4 edge. They're going to rule in my favor. But nah, ain't no dummies going, man, come on, man. That shit's in the law. You got to go. Some of the Supreme Court judges go on interpretation of the law.
Right. Well, that's kind of their job.
Yeah, but if you're a conservative, you look at it different than if you're a liberal. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it is that stupid tax shit that he's trying to fight. Come on, you ain't gotta be Democrat or Republican. It's in the fucking law.
Right.
There's no way to interpret it.
This just happened today. This is May 24, 2019. This is gonna be the show when y'all see it. Again, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. Donald Trump pretty much sidestepped Congress today and gave a bunch of arms to Saudi Arabia because he's thinking that Iran is this huge threat. So let's arm Saudi Arabia. Let's give them all the arms and the U.S. support and all of our friends in that area.
Is he allowed to do that though?
Well, that's what from what I've understood, both Republicans, they both are. Oh. Both Republicans and Democrats are saying.
Which ones?
Well,
which Mitch McConnell?
This is still exactly.
I want to know what did Lindsey Graham say?
So. I don't know exactly.
I don't care about a Republican that's in a blue state.
Right.
What are the deep red states? Republicans
I don't know that anybody's come out and said that, but what I'm saying is this could be a case of him building up hey, look over there because we've got a huge issue with Iran. And unfortunately, you got to understand, in my opinion, Iran is like 3 times the size of Iraq. They got way tougher terrain than we've ever had to deal with in Iraq. We are not ready for a war with Iran. We're not ready for another war. And
I disagree.
Okay, but
we could beat any country.
How long were we in Iraq and Afghanistan?
That's a different type of war. But if
it's going to be the same kind of war.
No, we're going to kill Iran's army. Now, what comes after that is what's going to prolong the war, just like it did Afghanistan, just like it did Iraq. We ran through the Taliban. Easy. We ran through Iraq's army. Okay. Right. The reason why we're still there now is what the aftermath.
Right.
ISIS, shit like that. We're going to crush Iran. I don't think we should do it. I told you this before. Republicans start war, Democrats end wars.
Right.
Okay?
Great point.
We're going to fucking kill Iran ASAP, and he's going to declare victory, get reelected. But you know what's going to happen? ISIS is going to use that as a selling tool. Let's fight for Iran. I agree. Bad decision. We shouldn't do it.
Right. So I hope we don't see a war coming or anything like that. But you have to understand that I look at Iran, North Korea, Russia,
I ain't scared of Russia.
Well, no, but I look at them all in the same light. If you corner them for so long, like a rat, if you corner a rat will fight you if it gets cornered and it has no place else to go.
I agree.
I
ain't scared of Iran's army.
They got a lot of people.
Their aftermath is what I would be more concerned about.
Okay, so what I'm getting to is this whole thing that happens to be coincidentally, we're going to go ahead and give all these arms to Saudi Arabia the same week.
I don't agree with.
Same week that these
taxes. Them motherfucking 18 of the 19 motherfuckers came from Saudi Arabia. We only fuck with them because of the fucking oil, some greedy rich shit, man.
Okay, but what I'm getting to the point is that
I won't get him nothing.
It just happens to be coincidentally that this ruling came down from New York about releasing the taxes and the involvement with the Deutsche Bank and the Russian
mind off certain
exactly.
Shit. Yeah, that's all he's trying to do.
Let's go ahead and start. Iran's the real threat now. Don't worry about my taxes.
Yuppies out fucking motherfucking Nebraska. They so stupid. They don't even pay attention to shit.
And I don't think that for a lot of those people who are true Trump supporters are even going to care what comes from these financial records because they're still going to support him on immigration.
Build a wall.
The economy's not bad.
They don't even care about that.
But the economy's not bad. But it's still a selling point in elections.
They don't care because half the mother. You just said this shit. They're fucking a couple hours. Alabama poor shit. Mississippi poor shit. What the fuck? He ain't doing shit for y'all.
But the economy overall
all
still
they care
pretty
about
good.
is build a wall, ban Muslims. That's all they care about.
Right.
And
that has not changed.
That's it.
And that has not changed.
Yeah, that's all they care about.
So listeners, to this great show that, we're just starting out, rest of America, do not be surprised. This is a tactic that has been happening for so long. It's not necessarily a conquer divide, but it's like, don't watch this hand, watch this hand over there because that's what's going on. And this hand over here, don't worry about it because what happens happens.
Have you ever seen a motherfucker interview like Trump, people at a Trump rally? They sound so fucking stupid.
They do.
For real, dog. They sound so fucking dumb.
Right.
They don't care about nothing. Like when he really said that shit, I shoot you. They don't care.
Right.
I just said it. They want build a wall, ban Muslims, and abortion. That's all they care. And abortion is just right now because it's a good topic to be on.
Right.
But they only give a fuck about motherfucking building that wall and banning Muslims. That's all they care about. And they don't like and they don't want gays marrying each other. Okay.
Right.
That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
So in your personal opinion, then, with what's going on with the financial records, do you think they should open up impeachment hearings, proceedings? Do you think we're just gonna?
I think it's a waste of time for open. I mean, you could do the financial records coming hearings, and you could get into more shit by opening up the hearings. You can investigate more. I don't think so. I think that's gonna rally up his base, and that's gonna give him something to fight. And he needs a fighter.
So then, what is then the
keep investigating, keep doing what they're doing right now. Now, if they find some shit that we could really stand on,
right?
Because right now, the way
it's a lot of speculation
the Senate is right now, because we run Congress, but the way America is in general, I'm on this side, everybody's tore apart,
right? And nobody's open to hearing the other side and be like, yo, that makes sense.
Every single fucking, I don't give a fuck if they found the most fucked up shit about Trump and we fucking impeach him, right? And send that shit to Congress. Mm-hmm. He's not going to get found guilty of nothing because all those fucking red state senators, they don't care.
Right.
All they want to do is hope to get reelected in whatever bumfuck
and their
town
people support
from.
Trump.
And that's all they care about.
Right.
That's all. Mueller report could have been like, Trump is a crooked motherfucker, right? And they'd be like, well, we don't believe it. Because the way they was dirtying up his shit anyway.
Right.
They don't care.
We need another counsel. Right. We need another investigation.
Right. All they care about is passing their agenda. They want more conservative federal judges. They want to push this fucking shit through the Supreme Court. We'll get into later on. That's all they care about.
Right.
They got what they wanted with the Supreme Court. Okay. They don't care what Trump do. They just want to push their agenda through.
Right. Once again, this is that show, Open Shots. Catch us at Open Shots on your
That's
favorite.
That's why I asked you, what did Lindsey Graham say? What did Mitch McConnell say?
This happened this afternoon.
Nothing.
But this happened this afternoon.
It was probably a Republican from like Pennsylvania was like, I don't think that's right.
Right.
What them deep red, what them slaves
I don't think
senators say. That's what I want to know.
I don't think I've heard too much from either side. It was just breaking news. That's all.
All they going to talk about is, there was no obstruction.
Right.
That's all they're going to say. That's all they're going to say.
Special counsel reaches here. Yeah. So once again, this is that show, people. This is Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. We are on Spotify. We are on iTunes Podcast. We're on Litsis. You want to look us up, we'll hit you up. Hit us up. We got that Facebook, also Open Shots. We're going to keep it moving. Rick, what are you sipping on?
Motherfucker had to get you already. Ooh.
I'm over here with the
King of beers, huh?
The King of beers. This is
switched it up on.
Yeah, well, so the Budweiser is actually, this is like King a Dutch beer. It's from Holland.
Fuck no, that shit made it motherfucking. They got a jump like in Virginia, don't they?
Anheuser-Busch is not an American name.
Bush beer is American.
This Jonas,
it's red, white, and blue.
This Jonas from like Holland or this is what originally was from like Holland or Netherlands.
Fuck
something
no,
like that.
Bush beer.
Y'all can correct me. Yeah, all the breweries in the United States are not from the United States except for maybe Yingling.
That's man.
Yes, no.
Budweiser, American shit. Them rednecks love that shit.
Budweiser.
If that shit was from Holland, they wouldn't drink that shit.
I'm telling you, it's from like Amsterdam. It's a wheat beer.
No.
All right. Anyway, agree to disagree.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Hey, DMV, let us know who's right on this. Because I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's not an American beer.
Okay.
The beer got introduced by all these Germans.
Yeah,
and
I don't
Europeans.
care. That motherfucker been here since they started making that shit. Budweiser.
Right. So. Next topic, we're going to talk about is the NBA playoffs. Rick, how's it looking? I think your prediction came through. You got the GSW.
I said it's 6, right?
Yeah, well,
I said 6 or 5.
You said 6. I think you said 6.
I told you. Yeah. And KD went down. Last time we was here, you was like, Rockets going to pull through.
Hey, I believe in James Harden. Unfortunately, we talked about this before. If it was the year to be done. If it's the year, yeah, Steph Curry won. And you called it. Because if Steph Curry had one of them nights, like you said, he had a 30 or 40 night, 37. And then Klay Thompson had a 20 or 30 night, and that's exactly what they did. They rolled.
They've been doing that shit since KD went out. I still think they're a better team with KD, though.
You think they are better? That was going to be my next question. Really?
Fuck
really?
Yeah.
In terms of ball distribution, in terms of being able to move without the ball, in terms of offensive sets.
Does the offense flow a little better without KD?
Yes.
Yes, because Kevin Durant, not like Melo. Melo is pure isolation. But depending on the matchup, and most teams in the NBA now, they do switch. So if you're going to switch and you're going to put a 6'2", 6'4" guard, why wouldn't you let Kevin Durant shoot?
Right.
That's easy fucking money.
The only, I guess, issue or argument that I have against that is the flow of the game. Because without Kevin Durant, the flow is just so continuous, so consistent. And we talked about this earlier. Like, who's on the team that won with the original one? The one guy that I forgot was Bogut.
Yeah, but Bogut ain't.
But he's still on the team, and he knows what it's required to win a championship. So without Kevin Durant, I feel like Golden State's flow is just more natural. Whereas with KD on the team, it's a little bit more like, all right, he's got the ball. We're gonna hang out here. We'll figure out whatever he wants to do. He's gonna let us know.
No, because Kevin Durant would play during the regular season. See, playoffs is different.
Right.
Right now, Golden State playing like the old Warriors, right? Before they got KD. Mm-hmm. But now you got KD. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not back yet. They're saying
I'm saying before he went down.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like he was playing like some trash. He was getting like 35 points in the playoffs.
Right.
He was working.
He was dog. Yes.
And playoffs is about matchups. You can't run that type of offense if you don't have KD. So then now you have to go back to what you're doing.
What you
originally
are really good at.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I'm not going to take anything away from your argument about if they didn't have KD, they wouldn't beat LeBron. But there's no LeBron in the game.
That Golden State team. They faced the Cavaliers 4 times. I think it went 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Like
without KD.
Without KD. Maybe 3-1. Maybe they've been 3-1 Warriors. Maybe I give benefit of doubt 2-2. Each series would have won 7 games. And whoever had home court. Like that first 2016 shit was bullshit. They gave him.
Oh, that was the one that Draymond Green fouled out, right?
Draymond Green got
ejected for game 5. Yeah, and that was conspiracy.
Okay,
I'm yelling conspiracy on that.
How are you going to suspend somebody in the finals?
Right. Okay, for not kicked out of that game and suspended for the next game.
But
and the next game was the game.
2017.
The championship game.
Maybe, let's say the Cavs win again. Maybe, because they had the same squad. Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, LeBron.
J.R. Smith.
But the last year, without Kyrie Irving, they wouldn't beat the Golden State Warriors.
Right. Well, yeah, because he was frying Steph.
Yeah.
All them threes and just, I mean, he had the confidence of like.
Steph Curry is a better point guard than Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving, when styles make fights, he just dog.
Right, because he's a better. I think he's a better ball handler.
Yeah,
that's just what it comes to. Not a better point guard. Yeah, not a better necessarily a better point guard. Not a better shooter. Not a better scorer.
They could have been 3-1, even though you see what I'm saying. But no, Warriors still would have been 3-1. Fuck LeBron James. Fuck Kyrie Irving. Fuck Kevin Love. We shouldn't even be talking about motherfuckers that's in their player. That's the rule. You ain't a player. We ain't talking about you.
All right, so Golden State, they won that series over Houston, proving that again they are the best in the West. And this is what, 4 or 5 years in a row?
Five straight finals.
Best in the West, where the big dogs play, right?
Yeah. Woo.
So they're now waiting the winners of the Toronto-Milwaukee series, and
they're going.
Milwaukee
without Kevin Durant, they winning.
All right,
both teams.
Okay, so
I'm going to explain to you how.
All right, we don't even have who's there from the East yet. So Milwaukee started out hot 2-0, and then guess what happens? Toronto goes on the road and is able to pull off that game 3 win.
You know what they did?
Which went to what, double overtime.
That was the game that
and Giannis
Milwaukee
fouled out.
To win.
Yes, they had to win that. If they won that solidified them as winning. But unfortunately, that's not how basketball works.
They're a young team. And usually in the NBA, before you win your first title,
George Hill's not young.
No.
Giannis isn't young.
You're not listening.
I feel like young-minded, but in terms of age,
usually you have to be tested in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. And just because you did it in the regular season,
right?
Like you said, you don't believe in them, just like Virginia. Just because you beast it out in the ACC tournament, don't mean come tournament time.
That's entirely different. Would fucking Virginia beat Auburn in the 7-game series? Who they play in the who they play? Would they beat Texas Tech in the 7-game series? We don't know.
Right.
They're one and done. But in the 7-game series, the best team usually wins.
Right.
Because you have to beat that motherfucker 4 times.
A couple times. Right.
Not a couple.
It's not
4.
Right. It's not one call here or a missed free throw there. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Toronto's going to win. Because they figured out how to stop Giannis.
Okay.
As soon as you stop him, everybody was sweating Milwaukee. That's why I was like,
and Chris Middleton last night only had 6 points.
Okay, Chris Middleton, pump your brakes on him.
No, I'm just saying he's a second leading scorer and he only had 6 points.
That's what I'm saying.
Completely taken out of the game.
Pump your brakes on Milwaukee. Yeah, they was 60-22, but I said this last time. Every year there's a team that got, we the best record. Boo, boo, boo. There's a hot team. They just hot.
Right.
But they lack experience. They got the Bama Mrkovic, used to play for the Bulls.
Mrkovic, yeah.
Okay.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Force him off the 3-point line. Is he going to hit that jumper? Dribble. No. All they have is spot-up shooters.
Right.
That's all they got.
Agreed.
And they don't even have, like, wet spot-up shooters. Like, I take Houston spot-up shooters over Milwaukee. Because at least Houston is battle-tested. Right. Milwaukee, you can see the lights are getting brighter now, ain't it?
Right.
And they starting to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Come on, yeah. That's why they're a young team. Ain't no way they just gonna Giannis is gonna win his first time ever. No, to win in the NBA, you gotta go through wars and you gotta go through battles. Right? Golden State, they didn't fucking just start making
playoffs to start winning the first series. Right. They had to build.
They built up a couple seasons.
Right.
And then when they faced LeBron, everybody was picking fucking Cleveland. Some people was probably picking Golden State because they was the best in the West. But what I'm saying is,
this is that first year when 5 years ago when
2015.
Yeah, when Steph was shooting from everywhere. That was that season.
That was the next year when they lost.
Okay.
When he was just shitting shit like
from half court, just pulling up from half court.
And the NBA gave LeBron a bone because they was like, he had to do it for Cleveland. I still think it was conspiracy. Just like
I agree. The Draymond kick out. Like how are you gonna do that?
Just like they gave the New York Knicks fucking Patrick Ewing in '85. They was like, here, LeBron, win for Cleveland.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I thought they was going to cheat in the lottery. I'm glad the motherfucker.
The Knicks didn't get it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that they were going to cheat, but I think it really did come down to everybody was like, well, if New York gets someone, it's like, hey, no disrespect to New York, but unfortunately you don't have
fucking years.
Yeah, you don't have the best basketball. You haven't had the best basketball in a long time. And I'm talking about high school basketball, AAU basketball, college basketball, and your professional teams. Not there. Stick to football and hockey or something. Baseball and football.
Because not even football.
Yeah.
If you look at people who
the Giants have won in the past 10 years.
I'm talking about coming from college or from the high school to get there.
Their pro team, something to root for, but it's not basketball at any level. Because
the Giants, the fuck you mean the Giants? The Giants suck balls.
They won in the past 10 years.
They won in 2011.
Eli's got 2.
Yeah, that's fucking 8 years ago.
He still has 2 in the past 10 years. The Knicks haven't won in how long?
Well, I agree. The Knicks are trash.
That's what I'm saying. So that whole, if the Knicks might get it, the big hype, the hype is not real. Sorry, New York.
I think they still need to have that shit televised where the balls come out and you see who did it. Because I don't be believing that. Because I thought they was trying to cheat for LeBron and fucking the Knicks having 1 and 2. I'm glad Memphis and New Orleans got 1 and 2.
Right.
Because them small market teams are doing better. Man, the NBA don't need New York to have a star player. The NBA don't need the Lakers.
They just want to sell the seats where cost of living and a market.
They don't need it.
And they're terrible.
The NBA's been doing fine. Look, the NBA doing fine. The NBA is always going to do fine because it's the only sport where you can sit real close to the players, courtside seat. You see the players' faces all the time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Look. Magic came and went, NBA went fine. Bird came and went, NBA did fine.
Right.
Fucking before then, the 70s, Wilt Chamberlain, fucking Bill Russell, all them, Michael Jordan, everybody, all the NBA.
Milwaukee.
What happened? Kobe took over. There's always going to be somebody next to take over the NBA.
Right.
We don't need New York.
Right. No, I can't disagree with that. Unfortunately, I'm biased. I'm from the DMV, and I believe we have the best basketball talent in the country, hands down. That includes Baltimore, the DMV, Maryland, and Northern Virginia, and DC, of course. We just hands down. So you got Golden State waiting for the winner of
Toronto.
So you got Toronto winning. So you got Toronto 4 straight.
Yeah.
So what does that say what does that say? And I know you've been saying about pump my brakes on Kawhi. What does that say about Kawhi? 4 straight.
What are you talking about?
What is that coaching? Is that
people have done that all the time? What are you talking about? Okay. A couple years ago,
so like you said, you just didn't believe in Milwaukee.
The Spurs went up 0-2 against Oklahoma City when they had James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant, and they came back and won 4 in a row. Okay. This happened before.
Okay.
So you're going to crown Russell Westbrook the next Jordan? Is that what you're doing?
No. But I think
are you crowning Kevin Durant?
Kawhi already has a ring. Kawhi already has a ring.
As a role player.
I'm not saying the next Jordan. So no. I don't believe in the next Jordan and the next Kobe. I'm saying on that level. I think Kawhi is trying to get on that level.
What level?
That level of winning, I got 2 rings. Like you said.
He has 1.
Right. But then maybe,
he's on Dirk Nowitzki's level. That's where he's at.
Yeah, you're right.
He's trying to get to KD's level.
Right.
And if KD wins this year, he's still got ways to go.
Right.
So he's at door number 1.
Right, door number 1. And there's 6 doors. There's 6 doors.
There's 6 doors, yeah.
There's 6 doors and a mile between each one.
He's at the kiddie pool. Okay? Right. He's not with the big dog.
He's not off the diving board.
No, he's not. He's at the kiddie pool. When he pee and the blue stuff comes out and everybody know. That's where he's at.
I didn't grow up with that pool. I just knew it was warm.
I don't know. But remember your parents? My parents used to scare me. Don't pee in there. The blue shit gonna follow you.
See, I don't remember that. I used to just go to a corner and be like, hey, I got to stretch.
Until I was like 11, I'd be pissing. I'd be like, ain't no blue shit here.
Right.
Your parents told you this shit?
Nah.
Maybe they told me that shit so I'm gonna pee in that
I think my parents were not as Americanized as yours.
Man, I do this shit to this day. I was fucking, if I go in the pool, I go to the section where I ain't gonna chill
open shots. If you see Rick in your pool,
if you see me where the grown-ups ain't at, I'm fucking pissing. Cause all them little kids
the
piss there anyway.
Right.
I don't stick my head underneath. I be like, hey, and I mob the fuck out. Man, for real.
So we got Golden State waiting for Toronto. Toronto, you got them winning 4 in a row. I also got them winning 4 in a row. Like you said, they're going back to Toronto. Toronto
got a good home court.
Great home court, yeah.
You saw it, right? You see it, right? They fucking loud in that bitch.
Right. So after that, first finals game is scheduled to start Friday night. Because we're thinking about if it goes 7, it's still scheduled to start next Friday. Okay. How do you have that series going? And they're going. Where's the first game?
Either way, the Warriors are on the road.
Okay, so if Milwaukee wins at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And if Toronto wins, we're at Golden State.
Both have more wins.
Okay.
Season wins.
So Toronto wins, which I got Toronto as well.
Okay, if with KD, 4-0 sweep. Obviously, he's going to miss game 1. So without Kevin Durant throughout the whole series.
But the first game is in Golden State.
No, the first game is in Toronto.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, the winner of the East.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
So without Kevin Durant, Warriors in 6. With Kevin Durant, Warriors in 5.
5. Okay. I don't really have a dog in that fight. The best I can say is the Warriors in probably 6. 5 or 6. Just because I would imagine Toronto's going to find a way to get one.
No.
Maybe
if Kevin Durant was healthy, not coming off a calf injury, both teams sweep.
Both teams sweep. Okay.
Both teams sweep.
So you got
go ahead.
All right. So no. You with a healthy Kevin Durant, not off of an injury, with the healthy Kevin Durant, you got to sweep.
Yes.
With Kevin Durant where he's at now,
Game 6
against
Toronto. Game 5 if he come back for Game 2. But if he only misses Game 1, then they'll win in 5. If he misses Game 2, they'll win it. Whenever Kevin Durant comes back, they win in 4 in a row. Okay.
Yeah, I got Golden State in 5 or 6. Just put a number on it. I'll give Toronto 2.
But
So 6.
With the healthy Kevin Durant, no. They're getting swept.
Okay. Once again, this is the show, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. Rick, what are you sipping on?
Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtles. I'm over here sipping on some Budweiser. We gonna keep it moving?
Budweiser.
All right, if you say so, we gonna keep it moving to the next topic. So we've already covered Donald Trump and, everything that's going on with him, especially the state of New York opened up his financial records, which is a good thing. And, of course, Congress having 3 committees that are also going to be looking to the same thing. Recapped again the NBA playoffs, which is still going on. Come summertime, we're not covering baseball.
Beef.
Yeah.
We need some rap beef.
We'll find something. Our next topic, we're going to focus on something that we covered a couple weeks ago, Julian Assange. Julian Assange back in the news. He just got hit with 18 felony charges from the Justice Department, 17 new counts of violation of the Espionage Act, and 1 charge that had been unreleased after Assange was arrested in London in April. This is according to CBS News. Now, according to U.S. Attorney Zachary Terwilliger of the Eastern District of Virginia, he pretty much stated, quote, Assange is charged for his alleged complicity in illegal acts to obtain or receive voluminous databases of classified information and for agreeing and attempting to attain classified information through computer hacking.
Cyber war.
He went on to say the United States has not charged Assange for passively obtaining or receiving classified information. He also went on to say a narrow set of classified documents in which Assange also allegedly published the unredacted names of innocent people who risked their safety and freedom to provide information to the United States and its allies.
They worded it perfectly.
So,
smoke his ass.
So Assange pretty much got this information. Just to recap, Assange was the guy from WikiLeaks who was pretty much his whole intent was to shed information and light on corrupt governments.
Just our government seemed like.
I think in general what it started was against other governments because he really started in Africa. And moved on to bigger governments. And eventually he got a sympathizer for his cause, which was Bradley Manning, who is now Chelsea Manning, who is also locked up.
Right.
Chelsea Manning, by the way, was let out early for some by President Obama. Just kind of gave him not a pardon, but just a little bit of leniency in 2010. Right. I'm sorry. Manning was arrested in 2010, convicted in 2013.
Yeah, he let her go right before he left office.
Right. And Obama, let her out for a little bit. But now she's locked up again because she has failed to abide with a subpoena.
That's what I'm saying. Look. All right, not to get off topic though, but we subpoena these Trump motherfuckers and they don't show up. How come they don't lock their ass up?
Well, because I'm guessing. And I don't know the facts. I got my law degree from the University of Montgomery County.
If you don't show up to a subpoena, but sheriff come get you, right?
But Chelsea Manning is a convicted felon.
Exactly.
Who's probably on probation or parole.
Right. Well, I don't know. If they give you, if they pardon you, are you on papers? No, you free. You free.
Okay.
From my understanding, like you said.
But it can relate to if it relates to a previous charge under the feds, I'm guessing they could be like, hey, this one part, you forgot to tell us about that one part on the previous charge. So guess what? Because of that,
right?
We subpoena you. You're supposed to tell us about this. You're not going to tell us. You go back to the lockup.
If the Fed subpoena you back, man. Yeah.
Right. So Julian Assange is currently being held in London. He's facing 50
That's a year, dog.
Right.
That ain't shit.
Right. He's facing a 50-week prison term in London, and at the same time, Swedish prosecutors are reopening a rape case against him, and he just got hit with these 18 counts.
It was a rape against a little girl, right?
Something. It was a rape charge.
Nasty motherfucker.
It was a rape charge. So right now, Assange is in London. I think one of the larger issues that may come to this is what First Amendment groups, again, this is from CBS News, quote, First Amendment groups immediately denounced the indictment, calling it a threat to journalists. This is the indictment against Assange.
We get it from Fox News. I bet you.
No, this is CBS. This is CBS.
They're protecting them, though.
Right, calling it a threat to journalists' ability to publish classified information without fear of prosecution. Now, just to recap, and this again is going to the quote from the U.S. Attorney Zachary Terwilliger. I can't pronounce his name. Terwilliger. I don't know, something.
USDA from Virginia.
Right. Quote for the Eastern District. Federal prosecutor, quote, Assange is charged for his alleged complicity in illegal acts. So essentially, what he's saying is that he manipulated, coerced, pushed Chelsea Manning into give him information. Now
about
that
our government,
right, and so that ultimately, in my eyes,
1950, he get hung for that.
Right, the way that I'm looking at it is that something that came up after the Iraq War and Afghanistan. That's a enemy combatant.
Right.
You're releasing the names of people who are out in the field, who are trying to do their job, who are trying to protect our country, regardless of if it's right or it's wrong. You're not in a place to release that information because that's why we have justice aggregate judges. Yeah. That's why we have Fort Leavenworth. That's why we have these military councils who, after the fact, will figure out what's right or what's wrong. They kind of jump the ball on that. So is there an argument to be made for freedom of speech and journalists?
I told you he might be able to beat that shit. I hope he don't.
Which charge?
From leaking the information, because that could be.
He might be able to beat it here in the United States.
He might, yeah, on technicality. Because if you get a good lawyer, man, what the fuck? He has every right.
Okay, so this is just completely random and off the top. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, extremely intelligent person, but at the same time was killing people with sending these bombs out, and he had a manifesto and yada yada yada. He got in front of a judge and said, Judge, I don't need this lawyer to represent me. I'm going to represent myself and I'm going to have the argument. Guess what the judge said? The judge was like, if you don't take this lawyer, I'm declaring you incompetent to stay in trial. So the feds can do at that level when you're in front of that judge. They could do whatever the White House, the DOJ, the attorney generals, the DEA, the CIA, they can do it.
Yeah, but the judge probably said that because under his best interest, you don't want to do this shit by yourself.
That's not how I viewed it. I viewed it as this guy is that smart, he might be able to beat this shit.
No, because most people, when they defend themselves, they still appoint him a lawyer to sit next to him. So it ain't like he's fucking reading transcripts by himself.
Right.
You understand
but if you are competent, you're intelligent, you're smart, you're capable, you're able-minded, and you say, you know what? I don't need this guy over here representing me. I'm going to go ahead and represent myself. I know enough. I can do my own research.
You think Assange is going to represent
himself? No. What I'm saying is that your argument about him possibly being able to beat it, I doubt it because I think the federal government at this point is going to railroad him.
I'm just saying. Don't be surprised if he do. Okay,
don't pass judgment, right?
John Gotti walked off the Fed. They lose sometimes, okay?
Right. Irv Gotti.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So don't be surprised. I think he did treason. I think he should face a maximum penalty.
I agree.
I'm just saying. You just said them motherfucking people them First Amendment motherfuckers and shit. The same motherfuckers that want to be freedom of speech and tote my guns, but they don't like Colin Kaepernick. Okay,
right?
They pick and choose they shit. I don't
right.
Anyway.
So the argument for I'm sorry. You keep going.
No, go ahead.
So I don't know that the argument for freedom of speech is going to stand because number one. Guess what protects
he has the freedom of the press though. That's what lawyer should do.
Okay, but guess
all he's doing he could be acting like he like
the middleman. I'm getting the information. I'm typing it up.
With like them internet newspapers do.
Right.
You know how the newspaper's dead.
Yeah.
He could be one of them columnists for the internet.
Okay. So this is where I don't know that.
I think he should get like 89 years.
I don't know about all that. But here's where I don't know that.
Just don't be surprised.
Here's where I don't, and I'm a huge proponent of the First Amendment. I don't know that the First Amendment can protect him because that the First Amendment will protect him. This being the fact alone, guess who the First Amendment protects?
U.S. citizen.
Exactly. Is he a U.S. citizen?
Well, no.
So he's getting looked at as a war combatant, as ISIS, as Taliban. That's how
I agree. Just
he does not have the same protection.
Depending on if they need him in these elections coming up, they might use him as a fucking totem pole. All Donald Trump got to say is, don't lock him up. Right? And then even everybody's gonna be like, nah, no, it's unfair. They treat him unjust.
You think that? Well, Donald
Trump can say fucking anything.
I was gonna say. I was actually about to say. You think those people in the South? But then I thought about no, they're people, and not to go against everybody in the South, because I get it. All y'all are like that, but the majority of people who voted for Donald Trump to live in the South,
Alabama be smarter than you. You should get smacked with a beer bottle. There ain't no fucking way somebody from Birmingham, Alabama is gonna be smarter than me, and I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Now, so I do not agree with that.
I agree,
reasoning 1,000%. At all. I do not agree with that. I can't stand by that just because I know that there's smart people all over the world.
Fuck no.
Unfortunately,
not from Alabama.
What I'm saying is, unfortunately, the majority,
Mississippi,
the majority of the people who voted for Donald Trump, who live in the South and the Midwest, pretty much the in-between country, or the the in-between states in the United States, it will not matter to them. Donald Trump's financial records will not matter to him. It's another witch hunt. Same thing was a Mueller jump.
If you from fucking Texas, Arkansas, they don't even know if they're from Texas or Arkansas.
How'd you come from Texas, Arkansas? You was watching the serial killer dude?
No, but if you from Texas, Arkansas, ain't no way you smarter than me. You ain't smarter than me. Off the break. You from fucking dumbass fucking Texas. You don't know if you in Arkansas or Texas. That's how dumb you are.
There's a dividing line. Isn't it like Main Street?
Some shit like that. One side Texas, one side. But that's how dumb they are. We don't just go name it both. We're going to name it both.
But that comes to like Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina.
No, because West Virginia left Virginia for a reason.
But you couldn't come up with another name?
That's how dumb they are. It's hereditary. It's in their blood.
We don't have North Maryland or South New York.
We don't got Mara, Pennsylvania. The fuck we look like?
Oh, Rick, you're killing it right now. You are killing it.
There ain't no way you from Texas, Arkansas, you smarter than me. No way. It's physically impossible.
Okay, so with what's looking for Assange, he's locked up right now in London. Not looking too sweet. He's about to get hit with the charges. Probably get extradited to Sweden, face those charges.
Yeah, but then he gonna have to serve a sentence. By the time he gonna be crippled and old. Let him serve America first, and serve them.
He's gonna die in prison here if he gets convicted. And
he's gonna die in prison regardless. He's like
the way.
Breaths away
No,
from
but
dying.
see the way that I've seen it, just in general, is it's kind of like catch those charges in those other countries, because in general we kind of view the criminal justice system in other countries as weaker, and then once that weak stuff is over, now we gonna hit him with every goddamn thing, and he ain't seen daylight.
Amsterdam in Sweden?
No, Sweden's a different country.
Oops.
Texarkana. I mean, there's a fifth. Well, I don't know about fifth graders.
Man, fuck that. They still ain't smarter than me.
Right.
None of the motherfuckers have free drugs, right? As long as they ain't in the free drug junk, we alright.
Right. All right. So again, this is the show.
Right. Amsterdam is his own fucking country.
Yeah. Holland, Amsterdam. Open shots, DMV at gmail.com.
Hey, you from Texas, Cardi, you said they smart me. Fuck you. You ain't know that shit neither.
So hit us up, openshotsdmv at gmail.com. This is that show, Open Shots, the podcast. We're on Spotify. We are on iTunes Podcast. And we're on also Listen, so you want to look us up. I'm your host, Alex. I'm along here with
Rick.
And if you've been listening so far, you already kind of know who we are. I didn't give you all the intros at the beginning just because, we kind of want to get y'all just jumping in and diving in and really getting sticky with the stuff that we're going to talk about. So we're going to move on to our final topic here. We're going to talk about the abortion law changes that have happened.
They setting up a battle for the Supreme Court. That's all they doing.
That's what it looks like. So just to recap, in the past month, there have been 8 states that have pretty much restricted
chipping away piece by piece.
Abortion laws in the United States. Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi, and Ohio have all passed laws restricting abortions, pretty much because that's what the good Lord wanted you to do. Have sex with your uncle or get raped by a stranger. You have to have that child. So that's where it has passed. Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi being the worst, and Ohio. Pending legislation, but it's still up for it, is Louisiana, Minnesota, New York, and Texas. New York, I don't think it's going to pass. It's just something that's kind of up there.
Minnesota,
but Louisiana,
Louisiana,
and Texas, it could pass. So
Texas off the break, yeah.
To be clear, we are 2 men. If you didn't understand, so coming from the state of mind as a man, I am very much pro-choice. I think that the language has gotten skewed recently in that it's pro-life or pro-abortion. No. Right. At no point am I saying go for abortions. However, if it's necessary, if you believe that that's going to be the best thing for the child and for yourself, that should always be an option. It is no right for me as a man to step into a woman's life and her livelihood.
100%.
However, I do believe in limits on when an abortion can happen. But 6 weeks from the...
Some women don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks.
Exactly. So how are you going to limit it to 6 weeks? Because
they doing that shit to make you have the baby. That's all they doing.
Right.
Or if you want to have the abortion, they can charge you.
Okay, so going to one of these states that is just the proponent of making this a huge issue, Alabama. Alabama ranks, this is out of 50, ladies and gentlemen. They rank 46th in healthcare. They rank 50th in education, 45th in the economy, 45th in opportunity. Crime and corrections, they're 45th, and their environment is somehow at the 35th percentile. Their fiscal stability is 23. That's because things have been the same since the Jim Crow South. They're not going to change, and that's kind of how they like it.
Absolutely.
If your education is at 50th,
that's why I tell ain't no way he's smarter than you. Physically impossible.
But this is Alabama.
That's what I'm saying.
This is Alabama.
It's Alabama. I said Alabama the first time too.
Right.
Then we lived to Texarkana. Ain't no way.
So
from Birmingham, you're smarter than me.
If your education is ranked nationally at dead last, worse than Alaska.
There's only 50 of them.
Right. There's only 50. It's worse.
50.
And you're part of the continental United States and you're ranking 50th. I think that there is a fundamental issue that's wrong with just how you are running your state.
Absolutely.
Now to come and what's the sentence that you're getting if
99 years.
99 years.
Up to 99 years.
That's the doctor, the nurse, and the person having the abortion.
Bullshit.
Not only that, but they're forcing you, and this is another issue that a lot of people aren't talking about. There's only 4 places in the state of Alabama that can have it, and those are other major cities like Huntsville, Montgomery, Mobile, all the big cities.
Yeah.
So for all these women who live outside of the city, they got to travel.
Yeah.
Okay. That travel includes probably having to spend the night overnight while your procedure is done, spend the night, and then get back home safely. Alabama is requiring you to have 2 visits. So let's say you work at Walmart or at the Sheetz or whatever. You got to take 2 days off of work because you got to go see the abortion specialist or see your doctor.
Right.
Then you have to wait 24 hours and then come back and decide and actually have the procedure.
Okay.
And the doctor has the option. Well, you have to be presented with the option of seeing the MRI of the baby.
Oh yeah. I read about that.
So not only do they not want you to make it,
convince you,
they're trying to guilt you.
Yeah.
The same way
that was Alabama did that.
That's
Alabama. I was reading about that shit. Yeah.
Additionally, you were telling me that if you go out of state,
if you go out of state and they find out that you come back and you had an abortion, they could charge you with that shit. I was just telling you that motherfucking. Man, they treat women like property. I don't agree with that shit. Women's rights is civil rights, man. Ain't no way we can fucking tell a woman what to do with her body.
Okay.
Now, I agree. If they too far along, I think there should be limits. But 6 weeks, man, that's too early.
Right.
And that's a big decision, man.
Okay. Now, who do you think is really promoting this?
It's them Bible thumpers, man.
Bible thumpers and men or women?
It's all men.
It's all
men.
A chunk of them are women.
I say 96% is all men.
75% of women.
All men. 75. They showed it on TV in the Alabama State Senate that passed it. Mm-hmm. There was all men but one.
Because they know so much about periods and pregnancies and menstrual cycles and cramps and all that. Of course, we should believe those guys. Oh, don't forget
their friends. But you have some women that are pro-life too, though.
Right. Well, no. So I don't know if this was, and don't quote me on this one, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know if it was Georgia or if it was Alabama or Mississippi, one of those states. Evangelical women, 75% of them voted for Donald Trump, voted against Hillary Clinton. 75% of them voted, are so pro-life that they are with these new laws. And they are like kind of leading the fight for this anti-abortion movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you have to understand that having an abortion is not something where you go and buy a car and they ask you if you want leather seats.
Right.
And it's a decision that you got to think about overnight because it's an extra $75 on your payments for the next 5 years. It is not that decision. This is a decision that you have had to deal with your family, by yourself. If this is something that you want for the benefit of a good life of a child.
Right.
So to all of you who are pro-lifers, and I know that I have some friends who are pro-lifers who are anti-abortion, I have to ask you, how many children have you adopted this year? How many children have you adopted ever? How many children have you fostered? How much time have you spent in community centers or in group homes
right.
where there are children who have been brought into life hoping that they would be adopted and it never happened? Now, if that's something that you believe is okay and that's God's will for, number one, in the worst case scenario, incest or rape, and from that incest or rape, a child to just have to live a life and try and figure it out without having a real nucleus for them. If you believe that that is what God intended or what Jesus intended or something that's good that's going to come of it, then I ask you and I dare you to step up to the plate and do something about it, as opposed to denying somebody else rights from the worst case scenario to, hey, it could have been a mistake. And a lot of these, and here's the thing, and it just hasn't come to light yet, a lot of these congressmen, a lot of these senators, a lot of these governors, they have all, or not all, I'm sorry, but a good percentage have forced an abortion or have participated in abortion.
Some got caught.
Right.
Because you're going to be a pro-lifer, but then you get somebody, you're sad, right, pregnant, and you get, hey, bitch, get that.
Well, you gonna tell me with all these men in a lot of these southern senates and in their state senates that out of all these men, just percentage-wise, not one of them has ever been in a situation where they have gone through with an abortion? Unfortunately, that's extremely hypocritical. I have a huge, and I'll get off my soapbox on this one, but I have a huge issue with that. I have no right to tell a woman what to do with her life.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, I cannot expect or accept that this is the life that God wanted for a child to be in a situation. And I bring you to the case in point of, we live in the DC area, Wednesday's Child. Barbara Harrison runs a segment on Wednesday's Child, which is pretty much, hey, this is the kid for the week. Like, if you can adopt them.
For real?
They do this week after week. She's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Now, there are great stories of kids who get adopted and get into good homes.
That's good.
But there are tons of stories of kids who just never make it, turn 18, and now figure it out on your own. If you believe that if there was an opportunity for a woman to make a completely life-altering decision, as in terms of, I can't have this child. This is not the right time. This is not the right thing to do.
Right.
But if you believe that this child is going to be is okay to be living like this, and you know that this is where they're going to end up with, you're hypocrites. You're hypocrites, and you're pushing yourself to something that is completely incorrect. All right. Let me get off the soapbox. Moving forward, what do you think the ultimate push for eliminating these abortion rights in all of these states are?
They're trying to take it to the Supreme Court because they know they got a 5-4, ruling on it.
And
they got 5 conservative judges and 4 liberal judges. What they hoping for is that those 5 judges reverse Roe vs. Wade. That's all they're doing.
You think they're going to be able to get it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's the law of the land. At the end of the day, they are Supreme Court justices. They're supposed to go by the law of the land.
Previous rulings, previous interpretations.
And that's what they all said in their confirmation hearings.
Right.
Unless they was fucking jerking us off.
Right.
I know that the 4 liberal judges are going to say no. So it's going to be up to the 2 new ones. And I think one you said earlier, Judge Roberts, because he's been leaning with the Democrats.
He's been a little bit liberal.
Yeah. No, I shouldn't say Democrat.
But just because, unfortunately, when it comes down to paper and he's looking at it.
It's common sense.
Exactly. When you look at it on paper, it's kind of like.
It's common sense.
All right. Yes.
I think it will still lose if they take it to the Supreme Court, but they building it up to it. I would hope that they would uphold that, but they're trying to get it reversed.
Right.
That's the whole game plan.
And I agree. I think that's the entire game plan, that they know that this is unconstitutional, but hey, let's get to the Supreme Court and maybe
because they're gonna have because what they're doing, they're rushing those federal judges that Mitch McConnell want. They're rushing them through. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna keep going up all the way to the Supreme Court. They got a 5-4 edge. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that that's ultimately they know that it's unconstitutional, but when they get in front of the Supreme Court justices, they can look at them and be like, hey, remember we voted for Trump and guess who got you in here? And aren't we on the same team?
That's all they're trying to do.
Right.
That's all they're doing.
I agree. So women, hold your head. We stand with you in the fact that, I'm not pro-abortion. I don't think either of us are pro-abortion, but we are definitely pro-choice.
Absolutely.
Everybody should have a choice in a situation, especially when it comes to the betterment of life long term. All right. I think we moved through that one pretty well. And, not to take anybody off, this is just our opinions. And again, this is not that most conservative, politically correct show. It never will be. Rick, what are you sipping on?
Motherfucking Heineken.
I'm over here sipping on these Budweisers. This is that show, Open Shots. And you can hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. We're going to go ahead and do a last minute recap. And we're just going to go for some stories that we talked about before. I need to correct myself on some things that I got incorrect. And so we're, hey, this is not that show to be like, hey, email, you got that one wrong. You had 2 weeks to hit me up. Yeah. I mean, you can keep bombarding me with it. It's not going to happen until we record 2 weeks later.
Right.
So here's what it is. Superbugs. I was talking about superbugs in terms of like, germs and diseases spreading.
That outbreak shit.
Yeah. That is not how superbugs are known to spread. It pretty much comes from if you get sick,
right,
you finish half your meds, you still got the bug in you. Now that virus gets bigger because it's gotten accommodated to the meds that you were supposed to be taking. Okay. And now it just gets double worse. And now
it's been eating the shit now it
can compete with the meds. Exactly. So that's pretty much what superbugs are.
Shit.
All right. So what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, I think last show was the vaccines. Yeah. And I was telling you, I understand where people are coming from with, them not. Yeah, and you said you don't. Yeah. Well, you said you don't agree with that. I understand where a lot of parents are coming from. All right.
Not for the political reasons you were trying to say that was happening like over there, but not over here in America.
A lot of these test cases happen overseas, man. Tuskegee experiment happened here.
Yeah.
And a lot of other experiments have happened.
Fucking measles is real.
Right. I understand that. But that
ain't no fucking experiment. These motherfuckers was dying in the 1800s for that shit.
Okay.
Get your kid that shit.
But this is my case in point. In the Philippines,
motherfuckers don't get chickenpox no more. Okay. You know why? Because you get your kid shot with that shit.
You
ever had chickenpox?
Yes.
This is a bitch, ain't it?
It is.
It's better to get it while you're young.
Right.
When you get it when you're older, you shit all blistered up.
I ain't trying to have that.
No, I was 6th grade when I had mine. My sister was in 10th grade. She was fucked up. Had to miss 2 weeks of school. Walking around. Dang.
I might have to edit that out. I don't know if you want to put your sister on blast like that.
Shit. She was bad. Her shit was fucked up, man. I'm not lying.
All right. So, remember we talked about what happened in the Congo, pretty much like the elections.
Right.
And
that shit don't happen here.
You got our
doctors tell the truth.
But what I'm saying is you have this kind of global buildup, and then people over here start to hear these stories and be like, hey, it could happen. All I'm saying is, I understand.
They from Alabama.
No, Washington State and Utah. Remember? He's like the Mormons and the liberals. The Mormons and like the weed smokers, right?
Yeah, they hippies, dog. Like,
hippies and Mormons, but they both kind of believe the same thing.
Yeah, but they mind cloudy because they smoke too much.
But just to recap, going back, people in the Congo weren't allowed to vote in an election, and they had people from the CDC come in because, not CDC, but like Médecins Sans Frontières and these global health organizations, pretty much because there was an Ebola outbreak at the same time. I don't know if it was, again, I'm going to recap. I don't know if it was, again, because they didn't have enough poll workers or because there was an Ebola outbreak, but they denied people the right to vote. Well, guess what? Next thing, there's an Ebola outbreak, and these people show up with hazmat suits. They think they're aliens. No, they literally think that these people are like there to like exterminate them. And they were denied the right to vote. This is again going to the vaccines. All right, so now let's move to the Philippines. This is in the past couple months. Parents in rural towns are fighting vaccinations for their kids because guess what? Some of those vaccinations got their kids sick. This is where that whole paranoia of should I get a vaccine for my kids? Shouldn't I? Does it lead to autism?
You know what? Autism, man. They trying to help your kids out, man.
I'm just saying.
We gonna believe motherfuckers from the Philippines?
They were getting vaccines for like measles. Oh no, they got it for dengue fever. They were getting it for dengue fever.
We don't get dengue fever here.
But they were getting from trusted health officials.
From where?
In the Philippines.
Was they U.S. doctors?
They were doctors. Is all.
Was they U.S. doctors?
It doesn't matter. They were doctors.
It do matter.
You in the United States.
If you was having open heart surgery,
the Philippines and the Philippines don't know, but they don't know any different. Let me ask
you a question. Would you want a doctor from America? Or would you want the doctor that works at the hostel from the movie?
I want the doctor from Cuba.
I'm not asking
I'll take the Cuban doctor. I'll take the Cuban doctor.
I'm talking about the one from hostel, from Pakistan. Which doctor you want? Which one you want?
The American one.
Or do you want the one that's from Manila?
Rick,
Which one you want?
You don't
I'm asking you a question.
You don't have a
my question.
You don't have a choice.
No.
You don't have a choice.
You do.
Rick, these parents are going to these doctors for vaccinations against dengue fever. Guess what? The vaccinations, some of them got their kids sick.
Okay, they got some dumbass doctors.
Is it the doctors or is it the medical companies?
What medical companies?
The people who are producing the vaccines.
Is it American?
I don't know where they're made from.
Then what the fuck?
Rick, all I'm saying is the paranoia.
You should be paranoid.
Stories like this.
As the motherfucker that live where I live right now, if you got fucking yellow fever in Manila, that's your fucking problem.
Okay.
If you board that fucking plane, you better stop somewhere before you get your ass in.
What I'm saying is stories like these build the paranoia for people who are anti-vaccine.
I said it 2 weeks ago. Y'all stupid.
We're gonna wrap up with something completely different, just because.
Don't get me worked up with no bullshit.
All right, so we're gonna end on a hopefully. I mean, it's a bad note, but still, hopefully, y'all have a heart. In Botswana, it's a country in Africa. If y'all didn't know, in Texarkana,
what the fuck?
they are overturning.
Kill elephants.
They're overturning bans on elephant. I mean, cute little elephants, man. Elephants. Elephants are cute. They're awesome.
Man,
what do elephants do?
I don't think you should hunt animals though.
So that's kind of what I'm getting to. So the whole issue with the people it's a new government, and the people in Botswana who have elected this new government, they're for it. They're saying that
when they get extinct, what they gonna do?
Well, let's just think about it in terms of
they gonna start shooting lions.
Well, they've been doing that.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, they want the elephants because of the money, man.
No, well, so their argument is that the elephants are overrunning. They're overrunning land, and they're making it hard for humans to live. Well, guess what? The population growth of humans is like gone through the roof because nobody's hunting humans.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's have a heart for elephants. I mean, come on.
Kill a fucking hippo.
If you want to go, I mean, there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah, fuck the hippos.
I would say not kill elephants. Yeah, elephants, man. They take care of their young. They got great memory.
I like them.
All right, so the issue.
Kill piranha.
No, but see,
kill piranha. I don't care about fish because they fucking.
All right, so my issue.
Anything that's in the water, kill it. If you on land, let it live.
Okay.
Except for cows, pigs, and chicken because I need to eat.
Right. Okay. So Botswana's major income comes from. What do you got in Africa? Diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds is like kind of the and guess what the second one is?
Elephant.
Tourism. This is second.
You go to Botswana?
They got Botswana. They got safaris and all that. Well, you just overturned the ban on hunting elephants. Guess what that's going to bring in?
They be doing a little jump in the little cars and shit. That shit crazy.
Right. So now you overturn the ban on hunting elephants, and guess what? Your second economy is tourism. Well, bring in more killers.
Yeah.
I think that's a terrible precedent, son. I hope that the UN or somebody steps up. Greenpeace, whoever. I've always seen Greenpeace
in
these videos on boats saving whales.
They're smart too, though.
They're smart. They have the best memory of any mammal.
I mean, we don't know, but
they do. They do. They have
we don't know. We can't talk to them. We can't show them a picture and be like, "What color is this?" So we just.
I don't know.
We just guessing.
All right. They have a great memory. They have a great memory.
Don't be like they're human because I can remember what I did last week. That motherfucker ain't gonna know.
Right.
That's how we know.
Right.
We guessing.
All right. So
tell him what this sign say. He ain't gonna be able to read that shit.
He might be able to point with his trunk. You know that a trunk is used actually as a snorkel when the babies are in water.
Yeah.
Random fact. It's used as a snorkel. That's how they get through the water. Totally random fact. I was watching like Animal Survivor, Nature Hunter, whatever the hell. All right. So this is the show, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. I'm your host, Alex, along here with
Rick.
Rick, what are you sipping on?
Motherfucking Ninja Turtle.
I'm going to end it with this Budweiser. Ladies and gentlemen.
From America.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in once again. This is that show, Open Shots. Hit us up. And we hope you had a good time. Thank you for listening. And check us out again in 2 weeks. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And we're going to see, because there ain't no baseball over here. We're going to see what it look like next week or in 2 weeks when we're pretty deep into the NBA playoffs, but it might be a sweep at that point. All right, y'all.